Hi, my name is Robert Chelle with Chelle Law, and I'm an attorney that assists veterinary associates with employment contract and independent contractor agreement issues. Today I'm going to talk about relief veterinary contracts. So some things to think about prior to signing a contract as a relief vet. And then in some scenarios, I've had plenty of veterinary associates who had no contract at all and just filled in, which I think generally is a bad idea. So first, let's kind of go through the red flags and things to think about, prior to starting work as a relief vet. So one, generally, a relief vet is somebody that fills in for a practice on an intermittent or short-term basis. Certainly not a full-time position, and generally not considered an employee. You will sign, or at least most likely sign, an independent contractor agreement instead of an employment agreement. Thus, you'd be designated as a 1099. No taxes would be taken out of any of your compensation, and you wouldn't receive a W-2 at the end of the year. So what are some red flags in a relief vet contract? First, a non-compete. As a relief vet, when you're only filling in on a short-term basis and it's not exclusive, meaning you can work for other practices and you could be a relief vet in multiple places, you absolutely do not want any kind of restriction on your practice after the agreement terminates or you decide to move on. For an independent contractor agreement, non-competes are enforceable to a degree. Now, once again, it depends upon the state. Some states they're completely unenforceable, but just because it's a 1099 independent contractor agreement doesn't mean necessarily that the non-compete is completely unenforceable. So you want to make certain the contract allows you to work anywhere else, so it's not an exclusive contract. And then two, there's absolutely no non-compete that's going to affect you after the fact. Another kind of backdoor sneaky non-compete is sometimes they'll say there may be a non-solicitation clause that just says you can't actively solicit any clients. They may try to throw in there or treat or accept business is another way they define it. This could be a problem for you, especially if you're a relief vet. You have no control over who comes into the practice. And so let's say you're doing relief work at organization A. You're also doing relief work at organization B. You have a non-solicit that doesn't allow you to accept business from anyone that you treated for organization A. And then someone shows up at organization B. You have absolutely no control. You're not an owner. You're not a director. You're just a relief vet. This could cause problems for you. So make certain if there is a non-solicit that it doesn't prohibit you from providing care to any of the clients that you provided care for your original organization. Next thing, malpractice responsibility. Generally, you need malpractice insurance for each organization that you provide care for. Most people use the AVMA PLIT. So many times you just have to list the new employer on your policy and then you're covered, but don't forget to do that if you are the one who's responsible for the malpractice insurance. Next, cancellation policies and terms. This is fairly important if you're doing relief work. How much notice do you have to provide if you're going to miss a shift? How much notice do they have to provide you if you were scheduled and then they cancel on you? Is there some kind of penalty associated with that both ways? So, maybe if you were scheduled for a shift and something came up, do you have to pay the employer something to cover your shift? And then alternatively, if they cancel on you with very short notice, do they still have to pay you for that shift? So that's something that usually isn't in the independent contractor agreement that I think is fairly important. Payment terms is another thing you need to think about. How often are you getting paid? How are you getting paid? What happens if they fail to pay you? Once again, these are all things that need to be in the independent contractor agreement as a relief vet. And then last, I guess it would just be making certain that you have all of the staffing and equipment and everything you need to practice safely, as a relief vet. I guess the last thing I'd like to talk about is payment as well. Generally, as a relief vet, you're either going to get paid an hourly rate or a daily rate. If you're on some kind of base salary or something like that, that would lean more towards you being an employee, and there may be some misclassification issues So you want to make certain, once again, generally, that you're paid either via an hourly rate or a shift rate, instead of getting paid a base salary for, let's say, 1 day a week or something like that. So that's a little bit about relief veterinary contracts. If you have any questions about an employment agreement or independent contractor agreement, feel free to contact my law firm. All of our contact info is listed below in the description, and I appreciate you watching the video. Thanks. Take care.